Welcome, everyone, to the regular meeting of the Bethlehem Planning Commission. My name is Rob Malassi. I'm the chairman of the Planning Commission. Other members, including my immediate left, Mr. Matt Malozzi, Ms. Joy Cohen, Mr. Eddie Burgos, and Mr. Rick Pongrans. We ask anyone here in attendance tonight to please silence your cell phones at this time. We will follow the agenda as listed. We have a few agenda items that have been tabled. When we get to them, I'll explain and let you know. We ask that each applicant will have a chance to present their project to the commission as their agenda item is called. Following that presentation, city staff will provide an overview and a recommendation. Then planning commission members will have an opportunity to ask questions related to the project, both to the applicant and city staff. Following planning commission discussion, all interested parties will have an opportunity to comment on or ask questions. Anyone here in attendance, all we ask after you are done making your comments, we have a sign-in sheet up here at the table. Please give me your name and address for the record. We will adhere to a 5-minute time limit for each member of the public. We ask that all comments be related to the project under review. Where there are a significant number of interested parties, we request that members of the public be concise and avoid repeating previously made assertions. After all interested parties have had an opportunity to speak, planning commission members will have one last opportunity to deliberate. Review of the planning commission is based on the provisions of the subdivision and land development ordinance, zoning ordinance, and other municipal ordinances. Decisions will be based upon these, recommendation of the city staff, pertinent public comment, and the public good. Our first agenda item, the approval of the September 11th, 2025 minutes. Any discussion on the minutes as written? Ms. Cohen.
I have a correction.
Yes.
In agenda item number 6, my comment regarding the left turn signal at Go Fish Swim Academy. The second sentence says, Azar has a sign that indicates no left turns. It should say the Go Fish Academy has a sign that indicates no left turns, and the signs in both locations are not enforced.
Mr. Piper, can we make note of that for the record?
Noted.
Okay. Any other discussion on the September 11th minutes? I'll accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the correction as noted from the meeting of September 11th, 2025.
Motion made, Ms. Cohen. Do we have a second?
I approve.
Second, Mr. Pongrans. Roll, please.
Mr. Pongrans.
Yes, approve.
Mr. Burgos.
Abstain.
Ms. Cohen.
Yes.
Mr. Malozzi.
Yes.
Mr. Malasky.
Yes, motion carries, minutes approved. Our next agenda item is a blighted property review at 317 7th Avenue. Will you introduce yourself and you may begin?
Hi, I'm Mike Simonson. I'm the chief code official with the city of Bethlehem. I have nominated 317 7th Ave in the city of Bethlehem for blighted property review with the planning commission through the first steps. This is a property that's been on our radar for quite a while. We've had no response. So I just, back in June, we subsequently went through the steps to start the blight process. So what I did was I first notified the owner of record, Mr. Johnny Vereen, via a notice of violation through the Housing and Code Enforcement Department of the deficiencies that were noted from the exterior of the property. We did not receive any response from Mr. Vereen. And then subsequently I did a blighted property presentation, which I'm about to go through in regards to the property now. So the property address is 317 7th Ave in the city of Bethlehem. The owner's name is Johnny Vereen. Same mailing address. The notice of violation, the letter for the presentation is in part of your packet, was sent to Mr. Vereen on 6/11/2025. The current use of the property is one residential. And my summary statement, per section 304.1.1 of the 2018 International Property Maintenance Code, subsection 12, exterior steps are in failing condition, and section 108.1.3 of the 2018 International Property Maintenance Code, which requires essential equipment and utilities to be in good working order. Section 304.1.1 subsection 6 also applies because the condition of the foundation of the building is poor. Section 302.1 requires that the property be maintained in a clean, safe, and sanitary condition. These defects meet 1712.1C 1, 3, 4, and 5 of the PA Urban Redevelopment Law. Just for the record, those sections of the PA Urban Redevelopment Law are: 1, any premise which because of physical condition or use is regarded as a public nuisance at a common law or has been declared a public nuisance in accordance with the local housing and building. Any dwelling which because it is dilapidated, unsanitary, unsafe, vermin infested, or lacking in the facilities and equipment required by the housing code of the municipality has been designated by the department responsible for enforcement of the code as unfit for human habitation. Any structure which is a fire hazard or is otherwise dangerous to the safety or persons or property. And 5, any structure from which the utilities, plumbing, heating, sewerage, or facilities have been disconnected, destroyed, removed, or rendered ineffective so that the property is unfit for its intended use. So as you can see through some of the pictures that I attached, they're heavily overgrown backyard, front yard. You could see in the second picture in your attachment, the front porch. It didn't come through in the pictures very clear, but the front porch is actually collapsed, and you could kind of see it underneath the banister of the neighbor. It's a twin home, so it's part of a second home. It's attached to another home, I should say. You could see about the 6 to 8 inch drop in the front porch. Full disclosure, I was over there today, and someone did cut the grass. It did not remedy any of the other problems, but the grass has been cut at the property. I don't think that warrants any removal or any change in my presentation. This property has been neglected for many years now, and needs to be addressed. So based on my observations as the inspector and the supplied photos, which confirm the above conditions exist at the property, I'm requesting the Planning Commission to approve the submitted draft resolution to declare the property blighted. Document its planning recommendation for future use of the property and otherwise advance the listed property to the Blighted Review Committee for further proceeding.
Thank you, Mr. Simonson. Are we certain that Mr. Vereen, this is his residency, or is he renting it, or is that unknown?
I believe Mr. Vereen has passed away, and he's still the owner of record, and there's no subsequent person to accept the property, so it's kind of just sitting there.
Understood. Thank you, Mr. Simonson. Any other questions for Mr. Simonson?
So just to clarify, there's nobody in the property at the moment.
No, the property is vacant.
Okay.
Any other questions? Ms. Cohen?
One of the violations, number 5, is the utilities have been disconnected or removed?
Yeah, we confirmed that the power is disconnected to the property. The PP&L must have pulled the meter, I would assume, for lack of payment or something along those lines, but there is no power to the unit. We didn't go further to determine whether the gas, but we also confirmed through city invoices and water usage that no water has been used at the property in several years as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Any questions or concerns from anyone in attendance today about the property under blighted review at 317 7th Avenue? See, yes, sir.
I'm just pleased that Mike is moving it along. as he said, it's been a number of years since it's been in that condition. And Mike and his group did a great job of trying to follow the regulations to get it presented to your group.
Thank you, sir. Your name, please,
Vince Davenport,
and your address.
currently, let's see, 7 West Washington Avenue.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Anyone else? I'll entertain a motion at this time. Mr. Malozzi.
I make a motion to approve the proposed resolution determining 317 7th Avenue as blighted and approving the planning recommendation for future use of the property as per the Pennsylvania Urban Redevelopment Law and various city ordinances, including Article 149 of the City Codified Ordinances, and to forward these recommendations to the Blighted Properties Review Committee and the City Redevelopment Authority.
Motion made, Mr. Malozzi. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Burgos. Roll, please.
Mr. Pongratz,
I approve.
Mr. Burgos,
Yes.
Ms. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Malozzi,
Yes.
Mr. Malosky.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Simonson.
Okay, thank
Great
you.
job. The next agenda item, actually the next 2 agenda items have been tabled. The land development plan at 1550 Spillman Drive, which is in LVIP 7, along with the sketch plan review at 740 William Street. So our next agenda item is a sketch plan review at 320 East First Street, which is the Steel Ice campus and arena, so to speak. Will the applicant please step forward, introduce yourself? We'll give you a minute or so to get your things in order. Once you're ready, you may begin.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Planning Commission. My name is Mary Bockert. I'm with Bowler Engineering, the civil engineering firm on the project. I have with me this evening Keith Krem and Eric Buss, the owners of the Steel Ice facility, which is owned by ENC 23 LLC and operated by BK Ice under the name Steel Ice. We're before you this evening for a sketch plan application for an expansion of the existing facility. We're looking at a 3.59 acre lot, and we would like to add a 34,000 square foot expansion and as well as a 6,000 square foot of expansion, the larger for an additional sheet of ice and the smaller expansion for a fitness facility to supplement the training for the ice portion of the facility. The proposal will necessitate the adjustment of an existing utility easement in the south of the site, which we have discussed with the engineering department and the rest of city staff at a staff meeting. And it was indicated that they would be open to adjusting that utility easement to accommodate the encroachment. Beyond that, we will also require an NPDES permit because we will be exceeding 1 acre of disturbance, and the site will be subject to LVPC Act 167 review. Stormwater wise, because this is in the area of the steel stacks, historically the existing condition has been looked upon as 100% impervious. So there won't be a calculated increase in volume to manage, but we will be providing water quality BMPs for pre-treatment before it leaves the site, which is consistent with other applications within the area in similar condition. So what we're looking at here on the screen is the site plan, which illustrates the proposal at the rear of the site. On the top of the page is the existing facility. The gray box that you see below, that is the expansion area. The relocation of some, yes, thank you. We will have to remove some of the existing parking and staging areas in the rear of the facility to accommodate this. We will be shifting the trash enclosure to the rear of that parking aisle. Currently, there's a 250 space parking lot across the street, which was constructed by the owners of Steel Ice on Wind Creek property, but it was constructed at the expense of Steel Ice for the use of their parking. There is noted in the city's letter that we will need to provide proof of a parking agreement for that, and the applicant is working on getting an updated agreement there. The historical records could not be located, but we will provide that during land development. Beyond that, I'm happy to answer any questions. I also have the applicant here with me. I have the architect and the traffic engineer.
Thank you, Ms. Bachert. Mr. Pfeiffer, anything you want to highlight from the October 7th letter? And just for everyone who's in attendance here, a sketch plan review is a procedure that we love to see followed from a standpoint of we're not approving anything tonight from a land development standpoint. It's an opportunity for the applicant to come in, present, and then get feedback from us along with anyone in the public so that if anything needs to be tweaked or changed, and often we love to see it done that way because often when you come back for the land development, it's pretty tight and sealed up. So we appreciate you coming in for the sketch plan review. Mr. Piper, anything to highlight from the October 7th memo?
Yeah, just a few items, and Ms. Packard and her team did a pretty good job with this submission. I will note that they came in and met with city staff in advance of making the submission, so they're sort of belt and suspenders their approach. That's why you got a fairly clean letter. There are just a couple comments that I won't reiterate what she's already said. The traffic superintendent has asked for some additional dialogue on potential impacts during consecutive events where they're happening at Steel Ice and other areas around Steel Ice. The fire marshal has asked for some access regarding full access around the building. And the zoning officer noted some missing street trees. And I would also note, lastly, that our city engineer, who's a consultant for us, has concurred with Bowler Engineering on no need for a traffic impact study.
And Ms. Packard, as far as everything that's in that October 7th memo from the city, your applicant's willing to comply with and continue to have dialogue if there's anything that needs to be adjusted or changed.
Yes, absolutely.
Any questions from any planning commission members at this time?
Sure.
Mr. Malozzi.
Thank you. It appears from the letter, but just to confirm, no zoning relief required for this? This is all
No.
by right?
Correct.
Okay, great. That's it. It looks like it's an appropriate, it's great to know if there's going to be an expansion. I mean, business must be good, investing and expanding the facility right where it belongs. And other than, I don't know, potentially some more traffic and maybe some offsite, taking a look at East First Street, which I know you have your consultant here. No concerns.
And just to piggyback off of that, what Mr. Malozzi said, I'm certain not only anytime I've been down there, it's always a lot of business and people utilizing the facility. And I know in the past they've had other facilities in the Lehigh Valley that have kind of closed up. One in particular, I think in Whitehall was, and I think maybe St. Luke's might have taken that over. So it's good to see that need is there. Is there any change with the restaurant area? Is that?
No, they're a tenant that would actually stay, and they have a long-term lease on the property.
Did I see a gym was also going to be added, or?
Yeah, we have a gym that's operated by St. Luke's to the front of our building right now. So the intention is to expand that space.
Expand that as well.
So St. Luke's is involved in the project and would be the tenant of that gym space.
Right, good. Anyone else? Ms. Cohen.
Thank you. Regarding the parking, assuming that the 250 spaces across the street are allowed or deeded to the property, are there walkways across the street,
Yes.
marked walkways?
Yes.
And how many spaces did you remove to do the addition? Those would all be accommodated, was my.
I believe
verified
it was a
paper.
loss of 13 spaces is what's sticking out in my memory. And per our use calculations, we more than accommodate offsetting those in that 250 spaces without the need to pick up additional spaces.
Thank you.
Do you find that most of the, I'll say, visitors or people that are utilizing the rink tend to park across the street anyway, or the current spots that are around the perimeter more for employees, if you will, or is it whatever is available?
Yeah. So no, most of our visitors do park across the street, and we don't have any exclusive employee parking. So that's a mix as to whether they have the side of the building or not. Some people preference the side, some people preference the far side there,
Right.
but we most certainly use that lot pretty heavily.
So I'm looking at the renderings and I see generic logo. Is that something that you haven't decided on yet? Or is it-
St. Luke's logo is going to go on that.
Understood. Understood. I'm sure with their help, that's something that they appreciate as well. And the building itself, obviously the structure with the ice rink inside, there's really, how can I say it, that what you're seeing now is basically what you're going to see with the new addition, right?
Yeah. So our front building stays the same, and then obviously the new addition is designed to play into that entire.
And that's just kind of like an aluminum siding type
Yep.
structure with a,
Yes, sir.
okay. Mr. Pongrantz.
Are all these the ice rinks? Are they utilized at the same time? I'm just thinking of traffic flow in there. Are they meaning?
Yeah. So there's overlap between all three
Okay.
sheets. Yes.
And roughly how many let's say guests or hockey teams or attendance in a given day, a given weekend?
So our busiest weekend actually is during the MS tournament, which is our charity tournament, which is actually held during Music Fest.
Yeah.
So we actually hold our busiest weekend during the two weekends during Music Fest. And at any given time, essentially you'd have 12 teams. So you'd have 2 teams on each ice sheet that would be playing, and then essentially 2 teams in overlap from there that are either in flux or out flux, getting ready for their games.
Thank you.
Is this utilized currently by a lot of the high schools as well?
So that's really one of the reasons that we need the expansion is we can't fit all the high schools. So the high schools are using Bethlehem Municipal for their games, but most of the high schools in the area do not practice
Right.
because Muni is a seasonal facility. So we don't anticipate impacting the municipal surface at all. Lafayette College, as an example, right now is actually practicing over in New Jersey. They'd like to move over. We have teams that are practicing as early as 5:30 in the morning, youth teams that are practicing as early as 5:30 in the morning. And then we have adult programming that's running till about 1 a.m. So we are saturated in every way, shape,
Good.
or form. And to your point, this really is the result. My partner and I bought the facility when the rink at Lehigh Valley closed. We were already in ice resource demand, and that just increased the demand. So I've been in the hockey community with the Phantoms youth for the last 17 years as a coach and the vice president of hockey operations. My partner Eric has 3 children that play in the organization, and so we were motivated to try to solve those ice resource problems. So we bought the property with the intention of expanding the resources and allowing increased access to the high schools, to the colleges, and more importantly, the Phantoms youth is growing at about a 10% growth rate annually. So we've grown in the last 10 years from 250 players to up over 500 players.
That's great. Good. And obviously we're happy and pleased that it's taking place here in our city, the city of Bethlehem.
We're thrilled to be here. It's
Right.
a unique location, and
Yeah.
we're thrilled to not actually be in an industrial park or in the back of
Yeah.
anywhere. We're in the middle of a really good cultural hotbed.
Yeah, that's great. Any other questions or comments, Planning Commission? Anyone here in attendance have any questions or comments concerning the steel ice expansion? Normally, again, when we have a sketch plan review, a lot of times there's, I'll say, more aesthetic feedback we tend to give. That's kind of what I said. This is what it is. It's you're building a new ice rink. So as long as you continue to have dialogue with the city, particularly with some of the points that Mr. Piper pointed out, and obviously the parking avenue you're exploring, and make sure that kind of gets squared away. If there's nothing else from the Planning Commission, we'll see you back here hopefully soon enough. Anything else? Good. Thanks for coming. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Our next agenda item is also a sketch plan review at 321 Wyandotte Street. Will the applicant please come forward? We'll give you a minute or so to get your thoughts together, and when you're ready, you can have a seat here.
Okay, thanks.
We usually leave that for the anyone here in the
Somebody important.
well public has all left. Whenever you're ready, you may introduce yourself.
Terry DeGroot with Terraform Engineering. With me tonight is Lee Snyder, a representative of the church building committee. And of course, the church and under discussion tonight is the Nativity Church of the Cathedral, right on the south end of the Hill to Hill Bridge on Wyandotte Street. So the church has been there for quite some time, and they have talked about making a lot of improvements to the property for many years, and now they're finally taking action on some of those improvements. Currently, we've been working with the city to get a demolition permit of the Shawnee Warehouse, which sits down the hill from the church to the, get my bearing straight here, to the east. So that should start to come down soon. There it is right there. So that is, we didn't want to get on the blighted properties list. So that building is definitely not serving any useful purpose right now. That'll be coming down. And in place of that building, we're going to put some parking in. Currently, the church does not have a whole lot of parking. They also provide parking for New Bethany Ministries. And a lot of this parking during the weekdays would be utilized by New Bethany. And you can see just to the bottom of the screen, well, past the bottom a little bit, at the intersection there of 4th and Wyandotte, that is New Bethany. I think they actually own the diocese center now, right, too, right? So they have a collection of buildings there, so that parking is convenient for them. Currently, they're parking in the upper church lot along Wyandotte Street, and that is putting a little bit of pressure on the church's weekday programming and their need for parking. So we're going to expand that parking lot down there. At the same time, we're also going to do some utility improvements. Currently, the sewer and storm coming from the church are combined. We're going to separate those. Storm sewer will go to 3rd Street, and the sewer will correct in that direction. And the sewer will continue down Hastings Street, which is that little alleyway there. Okay, I'm glad somebody knows their way around here. So we got your letter, and we have been in discussions with the city for quite some time. There's just a couple of points that I'd like to talk about. Comment number 3 under miscellaneous engineering. City is asking for a 3-foot sidewalk along Shawnee Street. This is, especially when you get to the area of the trees, go right there, there's an existing retaining wall there that, there we go, thank you. That makes it virtually impossible to put a sidewalk there. So we have no problem putting sidewalk down the rest of the area, but that area along the church property, we would be seeking some relief on that. And I know the city is very interested in getting their sidewalks all connected and done. But in this case, in this alleyway, I would hope that some relief would be granted. Another question, and this is one of the first questions we talked to the city about, is the status of Hastings Street. Hastings Street is currently an alleyway on the opposite side of the building from
Pull
our
that
view
up,
now.
Craig. Hastings. Thank you.
Take us down there. Okay. So it is an alleyway. It is two-way, only one way at a time. There is some question as to where Hastings Street stops. And I don't know if the city, I don't think the city's been able to find any record of that. So the review letter is asking us to provide documentation on the status of Hastings Street. I believe that needs to come from the city. So Craig, I don't know if you have any other updates or thoughts on that one.
I don't have any updates as of now, but we would certainly continue to work with you and the church and our Public Works Department on ascertaining where that actually ends. And certainly it's not going to impact your proposal here.
Okay, good. I appreciate that. Craig, could you put up a copy of the plan? The utility plan would be nice. It's a very detailed sketch plan, by the way. Multiple sheets, but okay, let's see. Let's go to the next one. And the next one, and the next. There we go. That'll show it. You can see at the top of the page, there's a line coming from the church, heading down towards the bottom of the page. That's this relocated sewer line. And that would reconnect to the line in Hastings Street. Now, we did a lot of investigation. We actually did a test pit on that last manhole to the bottom of the page. And we're aware of the depth of the line. That is an old clay line that is not in great condition. We tried to TV the line to get some better information on it, but there's some broken pipe about 65 feet from the intersection with Shawnee. We believe that is a public line, and we'll work with the city to, get that all resolved. But that line definitely needs some attention. So, and one of the points of this, besides the fact that the line is very old, it's an old clay line. We wanted to separate the stormwater and the sanitary sewer. And if you look at the top of the page, Greg, if you want to slide up a little bit, you see a line going from left to right there. That will intercept all the roof drains. Right now, they all go to the same place. This sewer line will cross over two other properties that the church owns, and it also, in the limit of Hastings Street, crosses at the back of the third row house down. So we might need to have some easements on that line to clarify access. I will add that this lot is significantly lower than the church. You can see we have a series of steps to go from the elevation at the Shawnee Street lot up to, you can see it there, up to the church. So that pretty much covers it. There was one comment in there about making the end of the parking lot, or the northerly end of the parking lot at Hastings Street, indicated as one-way travel. And we're willing to do that, but right now Hastings functions two-way, like I said before, one way at a time. So we can work with your staff to do whatever they think is appropriate there. But right now you have two-way travel on that little alleyway. Are there any questions?
Mr. Pfeiffer, are those all residential? What I'm looking at there on the screen is Hastings, right? Right. That all residential component there,
That's correct.
and that's not part of the church campus.
Well, the two units closest to the church are currently in the, Lee, you can tell them that
Yeah.
we're out on the.
Yeah, right
renovations.
now, the end unit, which is 232 West 3rd Street, and the next one, 230, we are proceeding as of yesterday to renovate those two row homes into apartments for affordable housing. And that's why we're going to lower the
Thank you,
grass,
Craig.
the grassy knoll. And our plan is to put 2 parking spaces behind each of the 2 row homes.
You point those out, Craig, on there. Right there. Is that
Yeah.
what you're talking about, sir?
This gentleman's name next door.
Oh, yeah, and Bruce Campbell owns the third 228 West 3rd Street, and we talked to him, and he's in agreement with allowing us to lower the grade there, cut the grade, and for doing that, we're going to provide him with 2 parking spaces also.
So if you go back to the aerial, Mr. Pfeiffer, those 2 are part of your, I'll call it campus. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so why now, Mr. Pfeiffer? anything else on that, I'll say sliver triangle from Third down to Shawnee, that is part of your property?
Well,
The entire triangle is ours
Right.
except for 6 parking spaces directly off of Shawnee Street, which are owned by Vol. They were notified.
I was
by
gonna, I was gonna ask that, have you tried to reach out?
Yeah, as part of our submission, we sent a letter to them certified, okay, stating that we're requesting to take down the Shawnee building. And we talked to him verbally, he's in agreement, but we followed up with a certified letter that is Valley Taurus.
So you have had contact with,
Yes.
and hopefully as we continue, you'll continue to have dialogue and iron that out as well, I assume.
Well, he's aware. I reviewed
Right.
the drawings with him. He knows what's being proposed.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Other than those 2 residential, there's no other quote residential in your triangle area there, right?
the deanery is a residence. but-
Right.
Yeah, the adjacent building to the west is what we call Sarah Hall. That's administrative offices and classrooms.
Right.
Multi-purpose room. The upper lot is 55 parking spaces, and currently New Bethany is using 37 of them. So we want to shift them down to the proposed parking at Shawnee.
Mr. Pfeiffer, anything from the October 7th memo that needs to be highlighted for the sketch plan review at 321 Wyandotte?
Certainly. So, kudos to Mr. DeGroot and Mr. Snyder. They have come in to see the city staff on multiple occasions and are now going through a sketch plan process. I believe they've covered pretty much everything that we highlighted. I would just say, for the purposes of some of the items that are in question, Hastings Street easements and the sidewalk, we will certainly continue to work with the applicant on addressing those items. Those are all public works items. And so that will be another conversation for a later date. The other comments I have in here are just general comments. There might be an opportunity for green stormwater design and features as per our new saldo, as well as some parking lot lights from our new saldo as well.
We are proposing parking lot lighting, and we will take a look at the green stormwater requirements.
Thank you.
Greg, there's an engineering comment about provide verification that the relevant sections of the Hastings Street right-of-way have been acquired and added to the property deed. What would the need? I don't understand that.
So the question, try to explain this as best I can.
It's a very murky issue.
Yeah.
Well, you had mentioned that you had tried to find, and it's unknown, correct? You're not certain.
Can't, well, up to this point in time, any record has not been uncovered. I mean, Hastings Street physically stops, the gravel or paved section at the Shawnee building.
Right.
And then it continues up on a grassy hill.
I guess I'm just wondering why would the applicant be acquiring?
Exactly. Why is it there? Why would they have to?
Well, we're not clear as to the status.
I guess just as a concept, why would the applicant be acquiring the right of way?
I think that question's more to Ms. Fletcher and Mr. Pfeiffer, city staff.
Yeah, and as mentioned, that's an engineering public works comment, and it would only be if we were to abandon, if there were no reason for us to continue to use this section, and it was going to be solely used for the church and the adjacent property owners.
Okay, are they proposing to do that?
They are not proposing to do that. It was a more of a comment pertaining to if we no longer have a need for this.
Okay. Wouldn't we just vacate the street then?
We would vacate the street. Yes, that is correct.
So is there a clear record of the extension of Hastings or how far that goes?
Not that I've been able to
Yeah, I know we
find.
talked about
Yeah.
it. So.
Yeah, the latest drawing I was presented was 1921 from South Bethlehem. So
Do you want the street?
The portion within the church's property, yes. The rest of it, you are welcome to have.
Okay, so there's a portion within your meets and bounds description?
Correct. The portion north of the heavy line labeled South 33911 right there. Any mapping we've seen just shows two lines going up and kind of going to nowhere. So if that needs to be, codified and recognized as a vacated portion of Hastings Street, we'll have to go through that process. If there is a record,
I would think that that's something that we have to make sure gets squared away. It should not be on the burden of the applicant to find out what Hastings Street's begins, ends, where the deed, and all that.
Agreed.
As we move forward with that, we can make sure that we kind of.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Can we pull up that sidewalk concerning the aerial? Just only because I assume the wall, retaining wall, is something that is needed. Can you go to the alley view, the road view, street view?
You can see that retaining wall is needed. Beyond the retaining wall, it slopes up to the church to continue to rise in elevation. So to put a sidewalk in there would require removing and replacing that retaining wall.
Mr. Malozzi.
When we're talking about this old stone retaining wall.
Correct.
So that's the entire length of that wall is where the sidewalk.
That
is
wall
being-
goes up to where the view stops, and then
Mhm.
it kind of makes a right. There's a parking space for about 6 cars up there.
Mhm.
And as you go up that way, the wall becomes taller.
What's the width of Shawnee? There's a 20 feet? No,
The right of way might be 20, the
but not the pave.
pay, but you cannot pass 2 cars on that.
Yeah.
that's 15.
And is that
15.
that's currently a one-way, Shawnee?
It is one
Yes.
way. I think
Yeah.
that's signed on
4th
4th
Street.
Street as a do not enter, but there's really no other one-way sign.
And if you look at the current sidewalk that is there, the width of it actually cuts into that stone wall
Correct.
a few feet.
We're willing to, rehabilitate that sidewalk and continue that to the.
I mean, certainly the grass area there can be utilized, or a paving type material can be utilized in that sliver of
We could
grass
put
in front of
sidewalk
the
and
wall.
curb in front of the wall.
Yeah.
We would not have issue with that, but it wouldn't be 3 feet wide.
Can I
Yes, Ms. Cohen, sorry.
Thank you. Since we're looking at this picture, on the site plan that we have in our handouts, so this lot, you're suggesting that the New Bethany patrons would use this new lot, and then would they have to walk along Shawnee to get to the New Bethany properties? Is that
Yes, they
the
would.
right
yes. Mhm.
orientation I'm thinking?
Yes.
Okay.
And the lot is mostly for the employees at New Bethany, correct?
There's and
Patrons as well.
patrons, yeah.
Okay.
So they would have to walk all the way up Shawnee Street to come around. I'm just trying to picture it.
Correct. You go up Shawnee Street and you come into the back end of
Right.
New Bethany, or you can go out onto 4th Street
Okay.
and up to the corner. New Bethany has a collection of properties at 4th and Wyandotte there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think most of my concerns relate to getting throughout this property. If the church-specific buildings can be accommodated with your 55 spaces that are at the top, and then Also on Third Street, you have another lot. And then this is designated for the New Bethany people. What I'd like to see is some way for the New Bethany parking to get to where they need to go in a safe way with lighting and sidewalks. And also possibly handicap spaces if that's required by the state. Sorry, by the city. And then also, it looks like you're adding a lot of steps from this new lot up to the church property.
There's a big elevation difference. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't see any way for anyone to get from this lower lot up into
No,
the
so
church property,
handicap parking would be accommodated in the
upper lots.
what we call the upper lot on Wyandotte and the lower lot on Third Street.
Which
the
it
church.
currently does.
Mhm.
Okay, we have ramps and an elevator.
So 55 spaces is not really enough for the church services. It handles the weekday activities, but it does get tight on a Sunday.
So this
So-
potentially could also be used by the church members during services.
Correct. Yeah, but
Yes.
in non-New Bethany hours. So.
Okay.
The church isn't just Sundays.
Right.
Okay, Wednesdays from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. The lot is, the lower lot and the upper lot are basically full.
Cool.
We have a thrift shop that brings in a lot of people that, are in need. And so the lower lot is pretty much them. And then there's Yarns of Love and prayer meetings. And so Wednesday, it's really, really full. Special events, funerals, weddings. We have an agreement with New Bethany that on those days, they have to park other places as of now. So,
Yeah, addressing your concerns about handicap parking, I don't think this new lot is very conducive to that, either for the church or for New Bethany. Currently, New Bethany has handicap spaces right along Wyandotte Street in the upper lot. And I'm sure the church could accommodate the need for handicap spots on an as-needed basis.
Yeah.
in-
So if you needed to add more in the upper lot,
yeah,
that's
Right.
something.
yeah,
exactly.
the logical thing to do would be to just leave those handicap spaces for, during the week, they could be used for New Bethany. On Sundays, most people that are handicapped park in the existing lower lot because they can go right up into an elevator and access the entire facility. So I think the dedicated handicap spaces on the upper lot would probably be for New Bethany.
So this is the first part of a master plan that the church has presented to the city. Obviously, taking down the Shawnee building is part one, building the lot in its place is part two, and then improvements to the upper lot and the lower lot, as well as a labyrinth, which would be located between the Sayre Hall and the Deanery. Okay, that would be more of a landscaping improvement. But one of the biggest challenges of all of this, I believe, is dealing with PennDOT on Wyandotte, because those entrances now are very narrow. You almost have to pull out into the second lane to pull out of there. So we'd like to improve those, and I'm sure PennDOT will be very cooperative in making that easy for us.
Once construction, again, you'll be back for your land development approval. Once it does get underway, how much, I mean, there's a lot of, I don't want to say issues, but rush hour traffic down at that corner, where the Sayre Mansion and your church is, and then beyond where 5 Points is and how it backs up. How much do you see your construction process affecting any of the flow
Well,
of traffic
We
through there?
need to get the new lot built first, so we have some swing space for parking. Because if we say we do the upper lot we're going, and we can phase that to a certain extent, but we're going to be out of parking for a little while, or at least some of it.
But you don't see any of the construction vehicles, etc., impacting flow of traffic on a daily basis through that corridor.
Well, during construction, of course, you're going to have a little more traffic there, and they're going to have as much difficulty as anybody getting in or out of those driveways. But at the end of the day, we'd like to improve them and improve the circulation on the upper lot. Right now, it's a little wonky, sort of dead-ended. The master plan shows we'd like to relocate some of the driveways and have a circulation plan that has full circulation up there. So I think that'll be a big improvement. And we're going to maintain the same number of spaces, but they're going to work better. And the egress and the ingress will be improved as well. The improvements on the lower lot are mostly maintenance, just to improve, because the lot's we're putting more trenches in it now for what we're proposing tonight. And it's got other old trench scars in it, and it's time to fix that lot.
Understood. Mr. Pfeiffer, is anything else from that memo?
Nothing.
Any other questions by the Planning Commission?
Question.
Yes, Mr. Malozzi.
It's a busy lot, but a lot of good improvements and a lot of improvements nobody will see, like separating the sewer systems and everything. It looks like Hastings Street, and actually, would it be possible to go back to the Google aerial? I mean, everything's uncontrolled back there, and I just was wondering if you haven't spoken to it already. So understand the need to clarify, to have the city surveyor, city engineering department clarify the bounds of that public access way, and whether or not there'd be any vacation and abandonment of it to the church's benefit. But is there anything to sort of start to, like, addition of curb or anything? It looks like it's a completely uncontrolled situation back there, and now will any of the parking lot can you exit from the proposed new parking lot, the main one, onto to Hastings Street?
In the current configuration, yes. And we, like I mentioned, that one comment about one way at the end of our parking lot. I don't think people are going to pay attention to it. I'll be honest with you.
Well, it's an enforcement issue.
That's an enforcement issue. But I mean, if the city would like to see a one way, either direction, we're okay with that. But Hastings, for the residents who use that needs to be two-way access. And like I said before, it's one way at a time.
And you'll actually is it correct to say you'll be extending it somewhat if you're revitalizing those two residential
We will be
and
extending
putting in,
Correct.
yeah, I heard you mention you're putting in parking for those
Correct.
as well. So,
But Matt, to answer your question, we don't have any intention of improving Hastings beyond our property.
And it's a public street. I
Yeah, I don't-
understand that. It's in city engineer, unfortunately, was unable to be here, but probably has some ideas about that. But it's there'll be more vehicular traffic, potentially pedestrian traffic. It seems like it's an opportunity. We could begin by delineating where the street actually exists
That would help. Yeah.
and whether any of it would be vacated. But with everything else that's going on, with the storm and sanitary improvements, it would seem like getting that under control back there. So maybe that's more of a comment for the city, and of course the applicant, being a potential beneficiary here, is just to
So
talk about
Putting that parking lot in will give the residents who utilize Hastings another opportunity for ingress and egress.
I mean, can I just say, the portion of Hastings on your property?
Yep.
Do the residents of these units need to traverse the portion of Hastings Street on your property to get out?
No, the two units that are owned by the church on the northerly end there are access to the grass off of whatever Hastings might be. So as you can see from this drawing, the improved section, I'll call it, or barely improved, stops at the Shawnee building. And then the grades become significantly steeper. It's, I don't know, 15% or so coming up along the
That's
Shawnee.
about 6 foot.
I'm just saying, if Hastings, if there's a part of Hastings Street within your meets and bounds description, then it's really not a public street, is it?
Well, that's the part we're not sure about. We don't know where it stops.
Okay.
Right.
But I guess what indication is there that the street extends onto your lot?
Well, old survey plans indicate two lines showing a 20-foot wide right of way,
Like a paper street cutting
a
through your
paper
lot?
street, but there's no end to it. They just kind of go off into
Right.
Neverland.
Okay.
Mr. Pfeiffer, expand on that, where that sliver of grass is, where Hastings ends, just to clarify, right?
The last map that I saw actually showed a paper street going up to about here.
And I assume that's where you will improve that by
Yes.
paving it to
Absolutely.
allow whoever's going to be residing in those revitalized units to drive.
And if
into.
that's classified as a public street, we have no issue with that as long as we can get the parking lot in.
So out of everything that's kind of an unknown, and I'm sure that you'll continue to have dialogue with the city staff, the Hastings Street question mark is something that I'm sure we'll iron that out. I think it's a great plan. It's a beautiful campus, a church, and providing a little bit more ample parking and improvements. Like Mr. Malozzi said, the drainage alone, the you call it a clay drain, that's the stuff that not everyone's going to see, but we know that you're.
Only civil engineers. will
That's
And site contractors too. I
Right.
appreciate that.
Yeah. Right, Eddie. So, any other questions or comments, Planning Commission? Again, go ahead, Mr. Malozzi.
Is it safe to assume then there's going to be a request for a sidewalk waiver along that wall that would accompany?
Yes.
Okay, so that's
And
going
we,
to come.
like I said, we could accommodate whatever space is available and put curb and sidewalk along there,
Mhm.
but it's about 2 feet.
Yeah.
Is all we have.
And to Ms. Cohen asked before, but so we would expect a regular pedestrian traffic to exit the lot and walk up Shawnee Street.
Yeah, they would have choices. They could walk up Shawnee or they could take the steps up through the church property, which would be a little more circuitous route, but I would
Okay.
imagine they would use Shawnee Street. Yeah.
But the safer would be to use the stairs. And this would, like you said, common sense would tell us that any additional ADA accessible parking would be taken care of up where it's already graded and there's access to an elevator and all that, not down here. Either way, Shawnee Street or the stairs are going to be.
Correct. So New Bethany and handicap parking, I don't think they have anything that even remotely complies
Mhm.
because they're on 2 steep streets. The closest thing they would get is the northwesterly corner of the church parking lot, and the church could accommodate some handicap spots there for New Bethany. They currently exist there now.
Yeah. Thank you.
What is, Mr. Pfeiffer, what is the closest public parking? Is there
This lot over here,
right there?
right in here, is owned by the parking authority.
Right. And that's next to the, I believe, is that a CVS?
CVS is here.
Yep.
This is an old firehouse that used to be a restaurant.
Yep. Anything else? Again, sketch plan review. Hopefully we gave you some feedback
Appreciate it.
and look forward to you coming back with a land development plan. So thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. Pfeiffer, any discussion items? Ms. Fletcher, anything to add? Upcoming agenda items or any general discussion?
So reviewing the summary, page 1, the second item, that has been resubmitted to us. So we hope that that will be on the November, if not December meeting date. The sheets is on hold. The last correspondence we had with the applicant's engineer was that they had some engineering work to do ahead of them and that it would probably take them some time. Hence, they gave us an extension. The Evans Street project on page 2 is a sketch plan. So that would not, I'm sorry, that is a sketch plan. So that'll be forthcoming. The 4652 West Broad, that one will be for you, we hope, on the November agenda. Mount Airy is a minor sub, so that one will not come to you. And the last two are just in their first reviews. And so that we don't have a date, but November or December. And finally, Spillman was one that was going to be on our agenda this evening, and that has been continued to the November meeting. Sorry, actually the December meeting.
The Mr. Pfeiffer, real quick, the upcoming agenda item for 4652 West Broad, that's the Wells Fargo
Correct.
bank, correct?
Correct.
The last sentence there. The existing building, originally known as Union Bank and Trust, is identified as a historic landmark,
So the city has a landmark listings.
but it's not in the historic district.
Correct. So when you're on the landmark listings, that only pertains to significant exterior demolition or demolition in total.
Right.
And that requires an HCC review and a council approval.
You're not, are you aware of, and again, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of myself here, but are you aware if the applicant is planning on maintaining that or removing it?
They are planning on maintaining the
Okay.
building.
Anything else? I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Malozzi, I'll second that. All in favor? Thanks for coming. See you next month.